Hello, everybody. Here with Angela. Angela, say hi to all the wonderful people.
I can't. I'm laughing.
Yeah. This is I think this is our first video in probably about 5 years now. I think it's
That's
crazy, isn't it?
disgusting. That's disgusting.
Yeah, it is disgusting. And what's even more disgusting is we couldn't even finish uploading the rest of the Shanley footage. Isn't that a bitch? But no, well,
Listen, life got in the way. A pandemic, becoming adults.
yeah. Yeah. So we've Angela, myself, and Brendan and Emily, we've been talking a lot over the past, probably about the past like 6 months. We wanted to bring a ZEEA back because we were gonna finish out 2024 on a high note, and things happened, needless to say. But we're trying to get the group back together. We're reforming. We're gonna start shooting again. We're extending this into 2025 because we liked how we did the Shanley thing, but it just didn't really. I mean, it was a high note for us, but we didn't really have a closing chapter to our story because obviously this was 2019. Pandemic was right after that. We worked with like the elderly and children and stuff, so we couldn't do anything at all.
No.
And then just, like Angela said, just life got in the way and, everything else. And we tried here and there, but just getting everybody, back together was pretty hard to do. And then we talked about doing some stuff back in May. My grandfather died, and so I kind of was like, I'm not doing anything for a while. But Angela, how are you?
Um, I'm here. Well, since the last time we've uploaded, you and I have graduated from college.
Oh yeah, I think Emily graduated from college too.
Emily did as well.
Brendan
So
did not.
he succeeded in other
Yeah,
things.
he didn't go to
I
college.
don't. He
He's
didn't.
doing he's doing well. I'm
He made
proud
the
of him.
right choice.
Yeah, he did. He doesn't have student loans, huh?
Didn't have to graduate in the middle of a pandemic. Um, no, I'm doing okay. A lot going on. Some health issues that's going to be fixed up, but other than that, glad to be back. I know you and I have talked more so because Emily and Brennan have been busy as well. Since we
Yeah.
live closer to each other, we've been talking more about like possibilities and more ideas of how to stay relevant / do more things. Since traveling can be an issue with our busy schedules, because like you said, we work with kids, we work the elderly, um, stuff like that.
Good talk. Yeah.
But
No.
to end
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Well, it's like because we had no idea that when we uploaded the last Shanley videos, we didn't know that that was going to be our last thing as a group.
no,
Well, and it's unfortunate because I can't remember if we talked about this in those videos or not, but we got there and I think we paid like $500. No, sorry. Yeah, was it? How much did we pay? It was like 500 and something like that to
it
go
was because
there.
it was like around 100. Well, there's four of us. It was around a little
Listen, I went
150.
to art school. Okay, I can't do math, but what
No,
I'm getting at is we paid about $500 to do this, but everybody else that was supposed to stay there that night canceled. So we got the whole thing for $1,500, and so we had all this footage, all this equipment. We uploaded everything we could, and then literally right after that, the pandemic hit, shutdown started, and we thought, okay, we'll shelve this for now. We'll just get together when we can. But the problem being, we had our last formal meeting as ZEEA in I think it was like March of 2020, I think, and then we just kind of split up without meaning to. We just pretty much went inactive. We actually had our first ZEEA meeting. What was it, like a few months ago?
yeah, I think it was you, me, and Emily because Brian was busy.
Yeah, we had that earlier this year, and we posted to our Facebook page. We just
Mm-hmm.
haven't had anything to really post to our YouTube channel, unfortunately. But we have been actively planning some things. We haven't done any shoots yet, but we are actively planning to do some stuff, and hopefully we'd like to do something by the end of the year. We're going to be continuing into 2025, and pretty much you could call it our farewell tour. We want to do, go to some places we went to before, go to some new places, but really I was pretty much just going to be, we're going to do it until we feel like not doing it anymore. So who knows when it's
I know.
going to stop.
No, like we said, we thought of new ideas for maybe newer things for after or during, but just to test the waters. See where things go.
Yeah,
It's been a while since I've been on recordings, so
it's been a long time, but we're feeling pretty good about it, and
well, now that we finally have like normalized schedules and like things are less hectic of the because of the pandemic slash things have cooled down with personal lives kind of a little bit more.
yeah,
Um, like obviously not big longer trips as we probably went on. Like the 2 or 3 days, but at least like day trips or something or
yeah. We talked about only doing like the 2 or 3 day trips. It's like that's like maybe like if we have to go really far or we have to. It's a really big place because we had a lot of fun doing those. I mean, I still have.
yeah.
I actually found every single video I ever shot on all of our trips for the
Oh
most
dear.
part. And it's like there's so much that we couldn't put like in the videos, but yeah, we had a lot of fun. I think my personal favorite trip, I think aside from the Shanley, was probably 2018, which is when we went to Little People Village and we went down to Connecticut and stuff. Which for some reason I okay, so there's this picture somewhere. Brendan has it. Okay. I need to know if you remember this. We stayed in a hotel in no, in Connecticut, and it like apparently it looked really weird. There were lights around the mirror. Do you remember this at all?
Oh, it was like one of those like touch mirrors, like with the lights
Okay,
turned on. We were like, this is way too fancy for us.
but here's the thing. I have absolutely zero memory of this ever happening. I don't remember this hotel. I don't remember where it was. I don't even remember staying there. Brendan brought it up, and I was like, "Yeah, it must have been another trip you went." He goes, "Dude, that was a ZEEA trip. You were there." And I was like, "No, I wasn't." He
It
showed me a
was
picture of the mirror, and I am in the picture, but I have no memory of that for being
it
there.
was a hotel. It was kind of like a strip motel, which I'm gonna say I try to avoid because we're all paranoid. But it was kind of like a strip motel, but it was kind of like a pop funky theme
A Funko Pop.
inside. Funko Pop, not a Funko Pop, but like a pop, like 80s pop theme with bright colors. Like there was a city landscape on the wall. It was a little bit more fancy than what we were thinking based on the outside.
I don't remember this at
Oh my
all. I
God.
and
I think
Brendan
we
was
went
like,
there when we were like dead on our feet and we were like done. We were
I
there to literally eat our food, take showers, and just pass the fuck out.
and Brendan has tried to refresh my memory. I do not remember this at all. I was not drinking. I was not under any on the
No,
influence
we were
of
just
anything.
tired.
No, I do not remember this happening to the point where I firmly did not believe Brendan until he showed me a picture of the room and I am in the picture.
I just remember it being like black and white and red, and it was like a New York landscape mural behind it, like on the wall of the beds. And we were only just concerned because, like I said, some strip motels we're all paranoid because we like true crime and stuff. So we're all like, okay, cool. But no, it was like I think we got a reservation the day of because it was close to nighttime and we wanted to go to sleep.
Yeah, probably. But at any rate, like that particular road trip, that one was my favorite. Uh,
Yeah, I like the abandoned uh it, was it a hospital and little people no was it Letchworth
yes,
Village? Yes, it was like the abandoned hospital that we went in. We were able to walk around in open spaces, almost stepped on a dead bird. That was fun.
yeah, it
Um,
was definitely. I think it was a. We went to so many places. We got great footage, and I had the most fun on that one. Um, but yeah, I mean, Brendan and I, in the time since the show, like we've done a couple of things, and we actually have a whole video of it. There's an abandoned train that we like to go to up north sometimes, and it still has the seats in it. stuff is intact, and we have like I was recording with my camera, Brendan had his GoPro on, and there's a whole video of us going through the train, and we just never released it for
Wow.
a couple reasons. But there's basically a certain unnamed railway that goes on the track next to this train for tourists, and I was in the train going through it. I'm at the back by the back door, and I have my respirator on, my mask, my gloves, and this train full of tourists goes right by, and they look out and they're like, "There's a guy on that train." I was like, "Oh no!" And I went back inside the train.
Way to go.
Yeah, we went there a couple times actually, but no, we didn't release the footage for. There's a couple reasons, but which you won't get into. No legal reason. We just never did, and this was also like 4 years ago. So, but you know, we've done our stuff. I've done a couple things, nothing really big, but our energy's been put toward trying to survive in a post-pandemic world. And finally, like Angela said, things have calmed down enough where we can actually do some things, thankfully, which I'm very grateful for. Especially now that Brendan's living back in the area because he was gone for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And Emily, I think Emily is getting her master's.
oh, what's she getting her master's in? I didn't know that.
I think in art therapy, and she was going to Lesley University in Boston. So she's been also kind of busy. So I think that's toning down a little bit now that the holidays are coming up. I don't know how master's programs work, but yeah, I know she's been busy and working a lot on that too.
Nice. Well, good for her. But yeah, so it's the four of us. We asked Emma, one of our other founding members, she would partake. She's not opposed to sitting down for a podcast, but you know, aside from that, you know, she's pretty good with, you know, which is fine, obviously. But you know, we've got some ideas brewing. We got some places we'd like to go to. We've already been to before, and some new places, and we aren't going to promise. We want to upload more than just, you know, over the summer and into the fall, but it's not going to be, you know, like we, you know, only exploring. We talk about doing stuff like this sometimes because we, at one point, we talked about bringing guests on and stuff, and you know, talking to people. And I know Brendan has a lot of stories from places he used to work that he hasn't even talked about yet, unlike a platform, and so have I. You know, I'd love to share some of my stuff, so we might make this a more recurring thing while we're out shooting. Because you know, the one thing I remember, I was in college. Well, we were all in college when we did the ZEEA thing, but I remember sitting in an editing booth at a computer when I was getting my film degree, just like uploading all of these videos. And sometimes I'd be waiting like over an hour for it. I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, can this just fucking upload?
Oh, yeah. And then I remember the one time it was for an assignment of mine. We did a podcast. I was like, hey guys, do we just want to do a podcast real quick I just did an assignment anyway. So that was very fun to edit, and
and I never heard it.
It's all beats from our
I want to
mouths.
hear it. Do you still have that?
Somewhere, yeah, I can find it. It's not the greatest because it's all of us laughing at each other being stupid.
It wasn't that all the ZEEA videos?
I don't know. It's just because we couldn't. There wasn't a visual for some reason. It felt like a lot more chaotic.
It was. I mean, well, all the videos were chaotic. I mean, I at one point I remember I actually thought about, well, our YouTube channel where all the investigations were going. I thought about starting a second ZEEA channel, which is where I put all the BTS footage and all like the throwaway stuff, because like half the time we was just bullying each other, like mercilessly bullying each other.
We would never bully each other.
No, I don't condone bullying at all.
We're not mean to each other.
No, never. We're not mean to each other at all. Even when Brendan almost drives us to the wrong state.
Yeah.
I think that was 20. What year? Was that 2018?
2019.
No, that wasn't a Shamley trip. That was 2018, I think. Because we went down to Rutland.
You're right.
So the video is on our channel. It's just called Brendan Drives to the Wrong State or something like that. We had booked a hotel and we were going down to Rutland, Massachusetts for a shoot. Well, there's also a Rutland, Vermont. We were located in central New Hampshire. And so we were like, okay, put in the Rutland location, Brendan. So he punches it in at the GPS. I'm in the passenger seat. Brendan's driving. Angela and Emily are in the back. So we're driving. We got our coffee at the little coffee shop. We're driving around, and thankfully we didn't get too far. We were on the road for maybe 15 minutes, and Brendan goes, "All right, we're this many hours away from Vermont."
And
And
I was like, excuse you?
that's really funny, dude. That's really funny.
Well, because then I
And I'm
noticed
like,
the sign saying west, and we're like, why are we going west, Brennan?
he's like, "Oh yeah, we're going to Rutland, Vermont," and we're like,
No, we're
and I think in the
not.
video, I'm like, "That was a joke, right?" And we're like, Angela's crying in the back seat from laughing, like, "You put in Rutland, Vermont, dude?" He goes, "Oh, sorry, I thought we were going to Rutland." I'm like, and I think Angela was like, "Why will we book a hotel in Massachusetts if we were going to fucking Vermont?" You were
Well,
not happy with him. You were not happy.
well, in my defense, I love Brennan. After months of us
But
discussing this trip, I
I'm
mean,
sorry, like being crammed in the same car as all y'all can be pretty hard sometimes, which is why the 2 or 3 day trips were not exactly the
I
great.
think it was his older car that was tiny anyway. I think it was a Subaru,
Oh, I
but it
can't.
was
I'm not sure.
it was like a tiny ass Subaru because it was an older car. We only used it because it had a bigger trunk for us because it was a longer trip, I think.
Yeah,
Uh, it was just the inside was just so tiny, so we were cramped and like it was like 6 a.m. We just left Dunks. Caffeine hasn't hit yet.
yeah. Honestly, one of our ideas that we thought about just maybe having a meeting like this or getting everyone together in the same room recording it, where we all have a drink or two, maybe three, and we just talk about all the crazy shit that happened behind the scenes of those videos.
Oh, we would need drinks, yeah.
Well, I mean, my favorite part of the about the whole channel is like, yeah, it wasn't successful and still isn't, obviously, because of things we already went over. But it's like you watch the first video and it's like really short, and then there's like slideshows in there, but then you get to the Shanley videos, and I like watching the progression of how they get better to some degree. Like so, stuff like that, and but like every trip was so chaotic, and I mean very chaotic. Because it was just, yeah, it was just crazy. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. I mean, Brendan driving us to the wrong state almost. That's probably like one of the better stories that we have. I can't really think, nothing comes to mind right now,
Hmm.
and of course, we'd love to do a video where we actually talk about everything that happened at the Shanley, because there's stuff in there that unfortunately we also have better equipment now. We have access to better equipment than we did back then, because we didn't have we have night vision cameras now. We didn't have night vision cameras back then. We had
We
one camera
also
as opposed to like three that we do now.
we also have more of a way of getting other equipment, like not like obviously like over the line, over the top, because again, it's the four of us. Some people are still in school, some of us are working multiple jobs. But we can always pitch in for like other things that we've wanted that we couldn't afford before as well, which would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like there's things that happened, like for example at the Shanley, that like we always try to win, or at least I try to enforce a rule that no matter what happens, the camera stays on. But the problem is that we never had one designated person, like you're always keeping your camera on. So obviously that was something we were trying to work in, but again, it's the
Mm,
hotel was dark most of the time, so we couldn't really record all that much. Like there were things that happened when the cameras weren't rolling. Like for example, I was sitting on a bed and the bed lifted
yeah,
up off of the ground and then dropped.
yeah.
And I was like, did that really just happen? But Brendan just so happened to be walking by the room, like on his way in, I think, or he was looking in or something, and he saw it happen. So it did happen, but that's something that was not on camera. A lot of our spirit box stuff was not on camera. And
And a
I mean,
lot of the oh sorry, you go.
oh no, I was just gonna say that and like a couple hours after that, the person that was hosting us went to bed and gave us free reign of the whole place. And I went back to that room and I looked underneath the bed, buttons, switches, levers, anything, and nothing like that.
We even used our own equipment because at the Shanley, what was really cool is they give you what EVP record thing. They give you other equipment. Basically, my
Yeah.
brain's not working. That we didn't have at the time because broke college kids. And then I remember like the flashlight trick where it's like you ask questions, like yes or no typically, and the flashlight would go on, go off. I remember while you and Brennan were in Anna's bedroom in the Shanley doing your little thing with Anna. Because she loved you.
She liked redheads, what can I say?
Obviously. Her and I were talking to like the other, I forgot the little girl's name. It was her bedroom, which was a few doors down. Rosie.
I think.
We used our own flashlight because Emily and I were like, you know what, we're gonna use our own flashlight to see like what, because yeah, their flashlights are gonna work because whatever.
Well, yeah.
No, same thing happened. Like no matter, even if it was our equipment, it caught stuff regardless. Like, did it happen the same frequency? Not all the time, no. But for stuff like that, the still yes and no, the light would flicker or the light would go on, light would go off.
Yeah, and it's like you're not gonna get stuff every time, and you know it astounds me that that some people still will ask me about the ghost hunting thing, and they always ask like, "Well, do you have stuff on camera?" Like, yeah, we have some, and I always say like probably 85% of the time you don't catch anything, and like you have shows like Ghost, insert name, Hunters, Adventures, People, like whatever those shows are called. I'm not saying they're fake. But obviously they go out and do this a lot more than we do. But the thing is, you don't always get a bite. I mean, how many places do you think they go to and they get nothing? If we were to start our own TV show today and do it exactly as we always have, it would get taken off the air because you don't get something every single time. I mean, I think like we probably only caught something like maybe 40% of the time.
Yeah, and most probably of the time too. Emily, because I know you, me, and Emily have talked about this. Like Emily and I, for some reason, like we're more. And there are times where Emily and I have gotten physically ill, just for no reason in places like Hockenbach Swamp. Like I got physically sick for no reason.
Yeah, I mean.
So for us, it's more like a feeling rather than seeing things. Well, I think you and Brennan have seen some things, maybe. I know I've heard things like that time in Rutland where we thought, oh, it's Zach and Brennan. They're walking back to the car. And then like 10 minutes later, you guys showed up. We're like, have you not been here the entire time? And you were like, no, we've been gone.
Yeah, that was another like really weird thing. And like, even like recent events, like for me, it's like it doesn't happen a lot, but I still will have like, and the Shanley thing, like I've always been like, we approach everything that we do from like a skeptical point of view.
Yeah.
So we don't go into, I think it'd be easy for people to assume that we'd go and think in a place that's haunted. It's like, no, it's called investigating for a reason. That's why it's not called paranormal truthing. I mean, it's like, so we go in and we assume everything is, it's like this place is not haunted. But like Shanley is one of the few places I've been to where I will say like, this place is legitimately haunted. I used to work at a ski resort, like right after ZEEA disbanded, like right at the height of the pandemic, and I worked the night shift. I was a night shift custodian, and the things that I saw there, my last night there, I ran out like basically screaming, and I have a pretty high scare tolerance. Like my terror meter is really high, and it was just, I really regret not taking my phone out and recording, but that's how scared I was. Because I mean, there's like I'm there by myself. It's like 1 a.m. There's doors slamming on their own. I can hear people talking. There's no one there. My mop bucket's rolling across the floor on its own. Lights are going off and on. I hear footsteps behind me. I hear someone banging on the walls and the skeevers, like lockers and stuff, things like that. But things like that, like really help switch my needle. Like I've always believed since I was a child that there are things out there. Like both my parents, especially, well, it's mainly my dad, has a history of seeing paranormal things. I mean, I had a paranormal encounter with my grandfather the day he died, and that's actually how I found out he had passed away, because he was sick with a cancer, and I had seen him. I think the day before I had gone to see him, and he was pretty you know, he was in the death rattle, and I don't know if he could hear me, but I said, "Hey, Grandpa, you know, if you make it somewhere, could you just please reach out, let me know you're okay?" I went to work the next morning, 6 o'clock. I'm scrubbing the floor with this little walk behind machine, and I got this really strong stench out of nowhere. It smelled like cigarettes and must and dirt and darkness, which is like what his house smelled like because my uncle who lived with him smoked. And I got this really strong stench of that, and it like stopped me in my tracks. And I was like, why does it smell like Grandpa's house in here? And then it went away, and I was like, oh fuck. I immediately knew. And then like half an hour later, my dad called me and said, hey, Grandpa passed away. And then I drove down like the hour to his place. My parents were there, and I said to my mom, I said, hey, you know, I got this really weird thing. Like I smelled his house this morning. So my mom calls my dad into the room. She goes, Zach, tell your father what you just told me. And I said, okay. So I told my dad the night before they were laying in bed watching TV. And my mom goes, it smells like your dad's house in here. Why does it smell like your dad's house? She goes, that's really weird. I mean, and that was pretty bizarre to say the least. So that was pretty.
Yeah, I remember when my grandma passed in 2013. So I have her jewelry box, which has like 2 drawers. It's also a music box, which I didn't know at the time, because music boxes, they can be annoying.
Oh yeah.
One time I lost my phone, and I was like, oh well, gosh darn it, my mom's gonna kill me. I lost my phone. Blah 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 blah. It was like a week after grandma died. And we had asked for a sign of her because she died. Like literally, we woke up and she was dead. Like it was a mysterious. Besides it being old. So I couldn't find my phone for like a good week. I checked everywhere. I checked the jewelry box. I checked baskets. I checked clothes, everywhere. Well, one day I went to go, it was like picture day or something mundane like that. And there my phone was, fully charged in there. And I was like, interesting. Okay, cool. And then at night, the music box would play. That I never wound up. That I never turned on. So, stuff like that. And then I think I also just grew up with feelings and stuff because like I've had many relatives pass as well. And usually it would just be like I'd have a crummy day, be like, I feel really gross and really sad for no reason. And then I'd get home and then my mom and dad would just be like, so and so passed. Or you just feel dread for no reason in a moment, and then you'd get a phone call.
Yeah.
But for me, it's more like feelings or stuff like that. Like my cousin who passed in March, I was on vacation visiting a friend in St. Louis, and I woke up feeling sad. I woke up feeling something's wrong or something's gonna be wrong. Not even 10 minutes later, my mom texted me saying cousin Ann passed mysteriously.
Yeah.
So yeah, between being with ZEEA and just personal experiences, there's something. I also believe that for you and I and Emily and Brennan, we also do this because we like history. We're a bunch of nerds. We like history. We like true crime. And most places in New England, if they're haunted, they are connected to true crime in most ways than not.
Yeah.
Because it's New England. Like we have Salem, we have the White Mountains, we have New York, we have Connecticut. It's all these places that have such big history. And even if we don't find anything, it's still pretty cool to be like, wow, like 100 years ago, this person walked around this hallway, this person did this, etc., and to be there. And I know you and I, like we've also talked about looking for more abandoned places, which even if they're not haunted or if there's nothing there, it's still cool to see, and it's still cool to witness what life was like at the time.
Yeah. I mean, and you mentioned the whole thing with, getting these feelings before things happen. I actually did not start experiencing that in my everyday life until I started with ZEEA, because I was told by someone that does this that if you have to open your mind to it, then you start experiencing. So like, for example, like for me, it started with coincidences. Like I would like not look at a coincidence as just a coincidence. For example, what used to happen a lot when I was in college, I would wake up with a song in my head. I'd get in my car to, to go to work or whatever. And then the first song that comes up when I start my car is the song that I had in
Oh
my.
yeah.
It used to happen to me all the time, but like, especially when I like around the time I was like graduating from college, I had pretty much been like I would get these weird feelings that something would happen, and they were happening and they happen not all the time, but like they're more like intrusive thoughts, like something I can't stop thinking about. So for
Yeah.
example, Mary, my girlfriend, Mary and I, we went on vacation down to Tennessee back in April to visit my Nana, my mom's mom, because she's going to be 99 in about a month. And so we went there. My mom wasn't going to go. She goes, you know what? I might as well go. She goes, I'll go. So we drove down, and she goes, I just have a feeling that I need to go see my mother because I feel like something's going to happen very soon. She goes, so I have to go. So we went down there, and we spent a few days with them, and it was there we got the call because when my grandfather, my dad's dad, was sick with cancer, we thought that he maybe had until the end of 2024, and he went to bed one night while we were down there, woke up, he couldn't breathe, and they said, well, your cancer is actually far worse than we thought. Forget what we said. You've got maybe a month if you're lucky. And so we got that news when we were down there, and we left, and he died like a few weeks later. And so that had my mom think, she goes, I was right, but I was wrong. She goes, I was right that a parent was going to die. She goes, but my father's been dead for years. She goes, but it was my father-in-law that was going to die, not my mom. And that's happened to me too, where I used to work in assisted living with Alzheimer's patients, and I had this really bad feeling like my grandmother is going to die soon, either the day before or the day after my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go home in tears because I was so worried about it. And a woman on my floor who had grandchildren died the day after my birthday. I was like, okay, it wasn't my grandmother, it was someone else's grandmother.
It was a grandmother.
But then I had another thought where I was thinking, there's someone else is going to die within the next week. Exactly a week later, another person on my floor died. And I almost quit my job because I was so freaked out. I think I talked to my boss. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, why does this keep happening to me? And it's not something that I can really control. And I don't really like it.
No, and it's also things like I remember, so my cousin who passed, actually, I was like, how old's her son? He's like 15. So 15 years ago, it was Thanksgiving. I remember I was 12. Ew. Anyway, I was 12, and I just remember looking at her and going, she seems different. She seems something. I just remember staring at her belly, and I was like, oh God, I think she's pregnant. My mom's like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, she's not, whatever. I'm like, no, Mom, I think she's pregnant. Like, there's no sign. Like, she's just sitting there. She's not doing anything. She just showed up. I was like, no, I think, no, there's something about her. I think she's pregnant. There's something in that belly. Not even 45 minutes later, she announced she had a positive pregnancy test that morning.
Nice.
And I was like, okay.
Well, at any rate, these are the things that we're hoping to discuss at length more with you guys when we start uploading and more in earnest. We thought, it's been 5 years since our last upload, and we figured we would actually do something. And,
Yeah.
so it's not going to be like a clear cut edit. We're just going to upload this video call to the channel. But yeah, so it's stuff like that we loved because we spent a lot of time going and checking out other places, but we didn't really talk about our own experiences all that much outside of that.
No.
I know Emily's got some stuff. Brandon's got a lot of really weird stories he's told me. Like a lot of really weird stories. So
sorry, my neighbors upstairs are doing something and I don't know what it is.
But at any rate, yeah. So that's pretty much what we got planned. We're hoping to get us something else uploaded before the end of the year. And do you have anything you want to add, Angela?
I'll probably tell you after we stop recording, but I might have something that you might be excited for.
Oh man, well this suspense is killing me.
I'll wait till after. I want to see what your thoughts are first.
Oh god. Should I be scared?
No, I think you'd actually like it. I'd also have to get permission from somebody.
All right. Oh yeah. Well, I will say, because we've never really put a public word out, but if anybody, uh, say primarily in the New England area, the northeastern area of the United States, has like a lead, or maybe they have a place they'd like us to go to, please feel free to comment on our videos or send us a message. I mean, our Instagram channel's pretty much dead. I don't know if that'll come back, but drop us a line, message us or something here on the channel, and
Yeah.
we're always looking for new places.
New
So,
places, new stories, new experiences.
new things, new people.
Ooh.
Ooh. You just gotta, you know, that's the spirit.
Jesus Christ. And everybody clicked off.
I like how you said that before, right?
I know.
Okay, good. That's like everybody clicked off. That's in the video on the channel. I think it's called like where you were like, it's like one of those weird one-off videos I posted where I said, "How are you doing?" And you said, "I just want to feel alive again."
I'm still waiting.
Yeah, me too. All right, well, I think we're gonna end it there. I think that's a good place to end it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so if you guys are still watching this, we thank you for being subscribed to our channel if you have been for however many years it's been. I haven't even checked the stats on the channel, so I don't even know how many subscribers we have. I should probably do that tonight, though.
All I do know is some of my old campers who've seen older videos did follow us, and they'll remind me and embarrass me, and even their parents will go, "You're that ghost hunter counselor."
And it's funny because I've never gotten that, and I'm like, I don't know how I would react to that, but it's like, I will say I fully support starting the Zach fan club. I think that our younger viewers could really have they could benefit from having an older role model, so they can look up to that person and say, I do not want to be like him.
Oh God. Okay. Well,
Some things don't change, I guess.
nope, they do not.
Well, at any rate, thank you guys for watching, and thank you
Thank you.
for being. Oh, make sure to subscribe and click the bell icon. I don't care. Do what you guys want. I don't give a shit.
Bye.
No, seriously, thank you guys. I appreciate it. We'll be back at some point soon with more with something. All right. See you later.
Oh God.
Angela, Emily said that once about 6 years ago. I have always wanted to say that in the video. Never got the chance. Angela was always like, "No, you're not going to say that. We're in different places, so she can't hit me." So I can finally say it. Are you going to say it too, Angela?
No.
All right. See you later. Okay, babe. Okay, goodbye.